Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of Math with Confidence and Math Mammoth. If you're looking at either of those programs or both of them, this video hopefully will be helpful to you, give you more information about both, and help make that decision better for your learner, which one would be a better fit. But before we get into this video, I have a very exciting announcement for y'all. If you follow Ashley over at Crazy Brave Homeschool, you may already know what I'm about to say, but if not, stay tuned. So Ashley and I actually became friends through YouTube over the past year. We both homeschool. We both have similar age kiddos. She's got a TK, or transitional kindergarten, I think, in California, and a second grader. I've got a second grader and a kindergartner. We also have very similar approaches to our homeschool, but we also do a lot of things different, which I think makes our conversations really productive and fun, and we get a lot of aha moments, bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other. And I was just sitting there, I was like, Ashley, how cool would it be if we did a monthly podcast and we just filmed these conversations that we have, because we get so much out of our conversations. I think it would be wonderful to be able to share that with our YouTube community, because if you're following us, you're probably homeschoolers, so it would probably be beneficial to y'all. So my announcement is that moving forward, once a month, we are going to do a podcast video for y'all. And what we want from you is we want to hear from you. Down in the comments of this video, is there any topic that you want us to talk about? Do you have any specific questions for us that we could maybe create into a Q&A conversation for y'all? It could be topics like, what drew you to Charlotte Mason? Or, what does your schedule look like? How do you fit it all in? What made you decide to homeschool? It could be anything that's going to be helpful to y'all, because that's what this is all about, right? Creating that community, creating discussion, because I think out of discussions comes so much great information. So leave all that down in the comments. If you're new to my channel and you've never seen me before this video, definitely hit that subscribe button if that's something you would like to continue to see, and we'll take you along for the journey with us. But very excited about that. Can't wait. Ashley's become a very close friend of mine, and this is why I love YouTube. She's in California, I'm in North Carolina, and it brought us together coast to coast. So pretty exciting stuff. But without further ado, let's get back into the original content of this video, which is all about math. Okay, Math with Confidence and Math Mammoth. So this is going to be a holistic view at both programs, I guess is the best way to explain it. This isn't going to be a direct comparison of one grade level to the other. I've got actually first grade here in kindergarten. It's not going to be about how they're individually structured grade to grade. What I want to do is do an overall comparison of the similarities between these two programs, because there are quite a few similarities. And then also talk about the differences, because I think the differences can also help you discover, is this the right program for us, or is the other one the right program for us? And then because there's so many differences, but also so many overlaps, a lot of people like to combine them. So I'll talk about that as well, combining what that may look like for some people, because we did combine them for a period of time. So I think the best thing is to talk about the similarities first between the two programs. So both programs have a strong conceptual understanding of math rather than focusing on memorization. So they're not doing rote memorization of math facts. They really want you to get a sense of numbers, and it's all based in, the core of their programs are based in Singapore style of math learning. On top of that, they are both mastery based rather than spiral. But with that being said, as someone who's used both programs, I know that their main focus is mastery, but they both offer review. So you could kind of blend that spiral review in there, which, they're all labels, right? Mastery, spiral, but review is also spiral, and they both have review. I don't know. Y'all, labels kill me in homeschooling. Give this video a thumbs up if you agree, or leave an emoji down below. But they offer the ability to bring in review. So you might master the concept, but you don't just walk away from it. They also build upon the concepts that you learned before. So there's organic review within that respect. Specifically from a review perspective, Math with Confidence has a daily review in each lesson, going over the concepts learned before. It's a 5-minute warm-up, essentially, is what they do. So they use the review as warm-up, and then you continue on to the topic that you're learning about right now and mastering. Whereas with Math Mammoth, they don't necessarily have that dedicated review warm-up at the beginning of lessons, but the concepts build on each other. So you don't just learn 1 + 1 is 1 or 1 + 1 is 2 and then walk away. You use that 1 + 1 is 2 knowledge and then fold it into the mastery of the concept you're learning right now. Another way that you can make this more review focused is there's a lot of customization within the lessons that you can do chapter 2, sprinkle in lessons from chapter 2 within lessons in chapter 1, and you can kind of do different, go back and do different problems to continue to review those concepts if that's what your child needs. My kiddos seem to do pretty well with both the mastery focus, but with just a little bit of that review, that spiral math concept in there. Both of them I would consider rigorous curriculum. I think Math with Confidence gets kind of a bad rap. They're like, oh, it's soft, it's hands-on, you do a lot of play. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's the most challenging math out there, but it's definitely not the least challenging. And the fun part with this one is it does it in a way that is fun, and I don't think the kiddos even realize how hard it is. But they both will challenge your child at or above grade level. I would say if one was higher than the other, I would say Math Mammoth is a little bit more advanced than Math with Confidence, but not significantly more, because we were able to transition both my girls over from Math with Confidence to the next grade of Math Mammoth, and they didn't skip a beat. There were no gaps or anything with doing this and then coming over here that we had to go through. So I didn't see any issues between the two. Another thing is the affordability and accessibility of these programs. Both programs are much more affordable than some other programs that I've seen. On average, you can do each level, I would say, I've seen them anywhere like kindergarten, the kindergarten bundle for Math with Confidence, I got it for $35 when I purchased it. And then Math with Confidence, I think is up to the $50, $60 range per year. So I would say on average, you're looking at the $45 to $50 a year mark. However, if you want to make it super affordable like I did, Math Mammoth offers bundles of grades. So I got bundle grade 1 through 4, which she offers, and I'll link this stuff down below for y'all so you can directly go get these programs. I got the bundle for grade 1 through grade 4 PDF file, which includes all the tests, all the cumulative reviews, everything, the keys, everything. I think I got all 4 grades for just over $100. And since I have 2 learners, so this is a big tip if you have multiple learners, it's even a bigger savings because I buy it once and I can print it off twice. So I think I calculated the average of the cost would be about $12 per kid per year for math. That is an insane savings, y'all. So on top of that, when I say accessibility, they're both sold, the printed versions are both sold on Amazon, or they both offer PDF versions. Well-Trained Mind has this PDF, and then of course Maria Miller's Math with Confidence Math Mammoth website has the PDFs there. So easily accessible. So if you're in Australia and the shipping is absolutely insane, just buy the PDF. I live in the US and I still buy the PDF because it is truly the most economical way to go about it. And then on top of that, with the accessibility, with Math with Confidence, their math manipulative kit that they tell you to create, a lot of it you can print off and create from your own cardstock and things to try and keep costs down. They keep it pretty minimal when it comes to the manipulatives from a cost perspective. Get counters. What we do is we got eraser heads. My kids love little erasers, so we use erasers as counters rather than buying the really expensive math manipulative counters. I was like, we're not doing that. On top of that, with Math Mammoth, it's actually, they don't do any physical manipulatives. All the manipulatives are on the paper, so that's even cheaper. And again, similar situation like we just did shapes with my oldest daughter for geometry. They had the printables. You would cut it out, print it out, and cut it out, and then you created 3D objects and you just tape them all together. And I was like, there's a cube, there's a cone. I mean, it was really cool actually how they did it. So very cheap, very accessible. Okay, so let's talk about the differences between the two programs. I'm gonna start with approach and teaching style, and specifically with Math Mammoth. So just as I said, this is specifically designed to be independent and self-taught as long as your child can read. Obviously, my first grader needs me to sit down with her and read it to her because she's not quite there yet. She can read 3-letter to 5-letter words, but it would take 5 hours to do math if we let her, just the blending and all that stuff. We don't want to strain her brain on language arts. We want her to focus on math. So yes, I am 100% involved with my first grader, as we all should be with our math programs at that age level. However, my second grader pretty much does this independently. I'll read over the lesson with her at the beginning of each lesson, the concept they're going to learn. And then if she has any questions, we go over that. But if not, she gets on her way and does all the problems. And if she does need help, she's like, Mom, I need help. I'll sit down and be like, okay, what's, let's explain the problem. Where are we having problems here? Where are we hitting a wall? And then we go on from there. So she gets a major sense of independence from using this. This, like I said, doesn't have any manipulatives. Pretty minimal from a hands-on perspective, which is different from Math with Confidence. Lessons are work-based with plenty of focus on problem-solving application, so word problems. That is huge in here. Not so much with Math with Confidence from a workbook written down perspective. And as I said before, there is a spiral review capability to this. It is written as mastery, but you can create your own spiral review from it. Maria Miller suggests that you only do about half the problems for each lesson and leave the other half blank, so that if you want to, you can come back to those and review those as you're doing lessons in the future. So you can come back to those concepts and review if that is necessary for your kiddo's learning style. And again, there is a really strong emphasis on mental math and number sense with this program. Okay, now let's talk about the approach and teaching style of Math with Confidence and how that differs. This is designed to be a parent mixed with your student approach. This is meant to be teacher-led. It's got scripted lessons. If you're somebody who needs those scripted lessons, this is your godsend. Seriously, y'all. The script in here is amazing. My kiddos, it just made it so much easier when I would sit down and open it and just read that script, and they were like, yeah, this, and they would answer this. And it's so funny because the answers that she would provide in italics, like this is what your kid should say, it's exactly what my kid said. I'm like, wow, it's like your mind reader. And like I said before, this incorporates hands-on activities, real life situations. Like you're learning about money, we're going to create a store, go get a bunch of stuffies, we're going to write price tags, blah, blah, blah. So with that, you have to be prepared to be involved. And because of that, it can be a little bit more time intensive. But if that works for your kid and you have that ability to have that time intensivity, do it, right? Like I actually think that's why the girls love this program so much, and it was such a good start to their math education. And like I said, it has that spiral review already built in. You don't need to do it like with Math Mammoth. It starts with a 5-minute review warm-up for each lesson, and you're reviewing those previous concepts. So that's where your spiral review comes in, and it's already ready to go for you. You don't have to think about what should we review today. It's already there for you. And just in general, this is more playful. This is more interactive to keep the student engaged. And as you can tell, I like both programs. We even blended them together, like I said. But I think depending on your learner, that's what's gonna put one ahead over the other. My oldest, she wanted to switch with Math Mammoth because she wanted more independence. She liked the more straightforward structure of that. My youngest loved kindergarten Math with Confidence because at her age, playing and having that math number sense with like doing the store and things like that, that clicked with her. But now that she's older, she's now moved into first grade Math Mammoth, and she's really enjoying that straightforward approach. Okay, now let's look at the differences between their structure and their format of the curriculum. So with Math Mammoth, you have one book for teacher and student work. And each year we'll have a book A and a book B, but it's all blended into one. You don't have a teacher manual and a student manual that you're tracking after and flipping pages back and forth through, which I personally like as the teacher. It just makes it a lot easier for me. Also, something to mention is that she offers different series of workbooks. So this is her light blue series. This is her full main curriculum. If you're trying to do math curriculum, this is what you would get. However, she also offers a review series, which I will talk about when I talk about the combination of the two that we were doing. That's good if you just want to bring in something for extra practice to either complement this program, or we were using it to complement Math with Confidence. So she has that review series, which is her, I think she just calls it the Skills Review Series. And then she has a blue series, just blue, not light blue series, which is topical review. So it's like that review, but it's specifically to topics. Like, does your kid need more focus on money or subtraction? Here's what you would get under the blue series. So you can see there's a lot more offerings based on what your child might need. And as of right now, the offerings for Math Mammoth are grade 1 through grade 8. grade 7 is her pre-algebra. That's where she starts bringing in those pre-algebra concepts. And theoretically, once you complete grade 7 with Math Mammoth, your child should be prepared and ready to move into algebra after that. However, she did create a grade 8 for those kids who just needed a little extra practice and weren't quite ready to move into algebra. Then that's where you would move from grade 7 Math Mammoth to grade 8 to get that additional practice, and then theoretically grade 9, then you do algebra for your high school credits. And something I really like that she offers is optional placement tests, which are theoretically her end of year chapter tests. We use that with my oldest daughter because she was coming out of Math with Confidence grade 1 and moving into Math Mammoth. And again, like I said, I wanted to make sure that she had gained all the understanding and things that she needed to know, her foundational base of math from Math with Confidence. Because if it said, hey, she needs to do grade 1 of Math Mammoth, we would have gone back and done grade 1 or started halfway through or whatever, or focused on the specific topics that maybe she didn't do well. But she passed that test with flying colors. So we moved straight into grade 2 of Math Mammoth, and she hasn't skipped a beat, and it has been going really well. But I like that Maria Miller offers those optional placement tests that you can determine, where should my kiddo go? My youngest was finishing up kindergarten Math with Confidence, so we just moved her into grade 1, and it's been perfect. Okay, structure and format differences with Math with Confidence. Okay, so let's talk about structure and format differences with Math with Confidence. So from a format perspective, you have 2 books per math year. So you have an instructor guide and you have a student workbook, which I don't have anymore because my kiddo finished kindergarten Math with Confidence. And the teacher guide, again, is fully scripted for the teacher, and the student workbook is really just kind of an after the lesson review. This is where the meat of the program is. You cannot do Math with Confidence without the instructor guide. So if you're thinking about doing this, do not skip on that instructor guide. It is so important. And then the student workbook, which I'll put a picture here for you, is a 1-page review for kindergarten of the concept that the child does after you're done with the lesson. In grade 1, it goes to a 2-page review, front and back. And then I think as the grades go on, there's more worksheets to kind of meet the child where they are in their maturity level of how much worksheeting they can handle, if that makes sense. So you'll get more as you get older. This program at present is currently available for kindergarten through 4th grade. Kate Snow has announced and made it official that she will go up to grade 6 and no further, because she said that's her expertise. She said it would not make sense for her to try and write any more math programs beyond the 6th grade level, which I absolutely respect. And I think that's really great that she knows that and she said that to everybody, because people are like, oh, please more. And she's like, no, it would not be a good idea, but I will give you suggestions of where to go after grade 6 with Math with Confidence and what programs she would recommend beyond that. These lessons are short and it is open and go. It is designed that way that you can open it with maybe a 2-minute prep time and then you read and you are doing the lesson. So in that respect, it is fairly easy. Not to say that Math Mammoth isn't easy, because you open it, the kid reads the lesson, you help them, and then you move in and they do the word problems. And then, like I said before, there's a really strong emphasis on review and retention through a weekly scheduling. So this program is scheduled out to 32 weeks, and they have an option for a 4 or 5 day approach. Whereas I forgot to mention this in the differences for Math Mammoth, Math Mammoth doesn't have a weekly schedule or this is how many weeks it's going to be. They say this is how many chapters there are, this is how many lessons within the chapter, and basically they let you go at your own pace with this. They provide a pacing recommendation so that you can complete it in a full year, but they're also leaving it open to you as the parent, knowing your student. Does your student want to go faster than the recommended pacing? Go for it. If you need a little more time, that's okay too, which again, a lot of people that can scare, because they're like, I just want you to tell me how to do it. But now what I'm finding with homeschooling, at least for us, I like being in more control of that, because if you tell me I have to do this in a week, I'm going to feel like if I don't check the box on that, that's going to make me feel stressed. I like being able to go at our own pace, because sometimes we speed ahead depending on the topic in this, and then other times we'll slow down a little bit to make sure that the concept is being fully understood and there's no gaps. So I really like that capability to be able to customize it to you and your students' like learning speed and style essentially. So what homeschool family is Math Mammoth best for? It's best for the family that wants to be able to be more independent in their math learning for the student. Less parents' hands-on approach, more rigorous, more structured, and work-based. This is your jam. This is what you want to get. For the Math with Confidence crowd, this is going to be best for somebody who likes that hands-on approach when it comes to math, who likes the more open and go, but also structured with scripted lessons for that teacher to hold your hand through learning and teaching the concepts to your child. And also, this provides a lot of opportunities for activities and games. So I would think almost like a Waldorf style or even Charlotte Mason, because there's actually offerings of picture books and literature in here. This would be your jam. This would be the one you want to move forward with. But what if I just described your family with both approaches, right? How could you combine them? There's two ways that I would approach this. Personally, we approached it this first way because we were moving from Math with Confidence to Math Mammoth ultimately. I didn't know that at the time, but that's ultimately what happened. So what we did was we used Math with Confidence as our main curriculum. We did the lessons as is. We didn't change anything about how she approaches it. But then what we did was we brought in, I should have gotten the workbook, I'm so sorry. It looks similar to this, and I'll link it down below. We purchased the Skills Review worksheet series, and there's one worksheet per lesson. And it's funny because grade to grade, these kind of line up pretty well in the way that they structure the lessons, like what concepts you go over. It's pretty funny how much they kind of are similar in their scheduling, if that makes sense. So it wasn't hard to say, okay, what skills review worksheet should we do out of this after the lesson we just completed in here? Whoop, we completed in here. So we would do the lesson, and then I would figure out which worksheet review from the Math Mammoth correlated with that lesson, and then my student would do that after they completed the workbook worksheet for Math with Confidence. And that's actually why we decided to bring in the review worksheets for Math Mammoth, because my daughter was really loving Math with Confidence. However, because it is very heavy hands-on and it's only a little bit worksheet, she literally said to me, she goes, I want to do more like math worksheets. And so I said, okay, let me do some research. And that's how I stumbled upon Math Mammoth. And that's how we started doing the review series. And then eventually she said, Mom, do they have their own full curriculum? Because I'd like to switch. And I said, sure, yeah, they do. You can go check out my math story and other videos. I've definitely talked about it a ton. But that's how we ended up then officially moving over to Math Mammoth. Another way you could approach combining the two is you can use the Math Mammoth Light Blue series as your main curriculum and do it as such. And then what you can do is either get the instructor guide for the grade levels, or Kate Snow actually started off her curriculum offerings with, and I'm sure you've seen these books, Addition Math Facts That Stick, Subtraction Math Facts That Stick, Division, and then Multiplication. She's done 4 of those books. And what those are the games from Math with Confidence, the full curriculum. So if you already have these, use these. But if you don't, I would get the Facts That Stick series, which we might actually get and bring in at a later date, especially as we go into division and multiplication, because it's going to help your child learn those facts, really learn them without doing the rote memorization, which I'm not entirely a fan of when it comes to math. I think rote memorization has its place in homeschooling, but I think math is one of those that if you really want to understand math, you got to have that number sense, not that memorization of the facts. So what I would do if that's the case, which we might end up doing this at a later date, do the Math Mammoth program as is, and then bring in and sprinkle in those games from those Facts That Stick, or the games basically from the grade levels, and then sprinkle those in as needed. Maybe you do a fun Friday and it's your game day that you do those math games, or maybe you do them throughout the week, whatever works for you. That's how I would approach it. All right, y'all, I feel like this video got really long. I don't know why. I'm surprised. I am a chatty Kathy and y'all know it. And if you're still here for it, apparently you enjoy it, I hope. But I hope this video was super helpful for you. If you have any questions about either programs, leave those down in the comments. Again, just a reminder, if you also have any topics or questions that you want us to address in our podcast with Ashley, leave those as well down in the comments. If you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to stick around, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.